Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 9 years we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with Oscar Zapata, the CEO and founder of Shots. And Shots is an interactive shop bar, and Shots Props and Fun is what they do. This is a movement, and you're invited to experience it for yourself. Their handcrafted signature menu is sure to satisfy every palate. We're going to talk to Oscar about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we have a great show.
Franchise Teacher.
Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 9 years we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Oscar Zapata, the CEO and founder of Shots. And Shots is an interactive shop bar, and Shots Props and Fun is what they do. This is a movement, and you're invited to experience it for yourself. Hey, Oscar, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, Oscar. It's great to have you on the show today. We always like to ask our guests, where are you calling from this morning, Oscar?
From, well, not so sunny Miami at the moment.
Oh, really? Well, you know what? I still would trade places with you in a heartbeat, Oscar. Yeah, it's going to snow up here in Pennsylvania today, so Miami's a great place, isn't it?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's about 55 degrees right now, and we all here, we have our biggest winter coats on.
That's fantastic. We started the show 9 years ago, Oscar, and what we found is that every franchise and business like yourself has a story. Maybe we can start off and you can describe the history of Shots, how it all got started.
Sure. Well, initially, my partner David and I, it's three of us actually, David, Jason, and myself, but at the moment it was just David. And we took a trip down to Colombia in South America. We saw a similar, smaller scale concept, and we just thought that, wow, man, this could really work in Miami and potentially other markets in the United States. So we came back to Miami and we started laying out the groundwork for the base concept. And shots, props, and fun is what we do. So the whole concept is you put on a prop, be it a hat or a funny wig or some oversized glasses, and then you kind of get into character and you take your shot.
Wow.
So, we did all the groundwork, and we ran into some issues when we got behind the bar and we realized we didn't know how to make any shots. So
right.
That's our third partner, Jason, came in, and he really took things to another level. We launched, and then soon after, Mike, our marketing director, came in and really took our brand to another level. It actually became an actual thing. And, Miami loved it. We thought other cities would too. So we started looking for new markets, and we ended up locking a deal in Orlando. And, we're supposed to be open there in July.
Wow.
And we really wanted to scale it quickly, so we got into franchising.
Right. How did you know at what point, Oscar, that, franchising was a viable means? Because I guess, all three of you had the choice. You said, okay, I could have, I could do this on my own. I can open up, corporate Shots, or I can go the franchise alternative. How did you know at some point that you were going to go and franchise the concept?
Well, right when we decided to open up in Orlando, we realized that there was only so much we can do at a given time.
Right.
And even though it's three of us, three of us is not enough to run an operation in Miami and in Orlando and launch new markets. So, like I said, we really wanted to scale this quickly and dramatically. So we, franchising is really the only way.
Right. It's it's an experience, isn't it? When you go into Shots, we're on, watching the YouTube videos yesterday. It looks like, such a fun place, and it's really an experience. If you were at like a franchise show, like say like in Miami, Oscar, and someone came up to your booth and they say, okay, what does Shots do? How do you typically describe the franchise to someone?
Well, the franchise is you really use the proper key word there when you said fun, because it really is a fun environment. And the way the whole thing operates, it's kind of like a family environment as far as the back office goes. So it really is a very homey, fun place to work and to be, and it's a fun thing to be a part of. If I was talking to a potential investor, I would tell them that I help investors accomplish their dreams and have fun doing it.
Right. It's a great name too. It's just such a nice name because it describes your business, doesn't it? And I love the story too. How you went down to Colombia. I never would have thought of that. Going to a place like Colombia and seeing that this type of concept, and then bringing it to America, because it really is different. We've been doing the show 9 years now. And we haven't had a lot of your type of business model on the show. So I really thought, it was fantastic. One of the questions we've been asking on the show recently is, how has technology played a role in your business today, Oscar? How do you guys use technology for the franchise?
Wherever possible, we try to leverage technology. For example, all of our point of sales are iPad-based. And just going back real quick to something you just mentioned, about this being a unique business. I like to think of it kind of how, Cirque du Soleil flipped the whole circus industry on its side. Bars bars aren't new. You know, they come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. So all we try to do is kind of flip it on its side and add a little bit of uniqueness. You know, our name is Shots, and we have over 300 shots in our database. But we also do, you know, craft beers, bottled beers, everyday cocktails, wines. Going back to technology, you know, all of our and also relating it to how we're flipping the industry on its side is traditionally in the service industry, a point of sale system can cost you anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 per terminal. That makes it very expensive, especially in a volume environment where you have a lot of bartenders behind the bar, like we do. So we went to iPad-based point of sale. So that's really driven down our costs dramatically, and it allows us to scale very inexpensively. Also, our sound and light systems, they're all digitally processed and controlled. It's very low maintenance, very easy to handle, you know, very little user error. And then all of our lighting is all, you know, standard LED lighting. Wherever we can implement technology, we do. And it adds longevity to our business, and it also makes it a lot easier to operate.
That's fantastic. It sounds like, I mean, you know, and alcohol is from what I've always understood, Oscar, you know, is that it's very profitable, isn't it? You know, for the most part. I mean, and you know, if you get these percentages and things like that. But I mean, I've always understood that alcohol is very, very profitable. You know, so it's a nice business model. Do you guys serve food also? Is that part of the business model as well?
Yes, it is part of the business model. We're going to be launching our food concept in the next 2 months. It's called Shots Bites, and it's actually a spin on the shot concept applied to food. So it's bar food in small shareable portions.
That's fantastic. Can I ask you I'm sure you get to try some of the samples, you know, going to your own place. I mean, do you have a particular favorite that you like? And the names, by the way, are really very creative, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, what sells the shot is the taste, the flavor, of course, as well as the name. People get motivated by names that they're familiar with. So we try to make things funny. You know, some stuff is a little risque on the edge. You know, but people really enjoy them. My personal favorite is called Faded, and it's actually a shot that I created the formula for, and it's got uses Patron tequila as the base liquor, but you know, it's strong. Ladies like it, men like it.
That's great. I mean, when you see it on the video, Oscar, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, the way it's just, you know, the visual aspect of it as well. You know, in addition to, you know, the taste. I mean, it's really it's really fascinating how you came up with these concepts. I haven't seen anything like it.
Thank you. You talk about you touched on the visuals of the whole thing, and that's really one of the strongest things that we have is the visuals.
Yeah.
What we do here is we create memories, we create experiences. People like to photograph them, take videos of them, they post them on their social media, they share it with their friends. We have a lot of repeat customers. People like to bring their friends here to experience what they experience.
That's fantastic. Is there a particular target audience, I mean, you know, that comes into a Shots, Oscar? I mean, have you narrowed it down to, you know, who are your main customers at this point?
Yes. We go after 21 to 34-year-old men and women, young professionals, and they live in a 10-mile radius to the venue. So we go after a local crowd. We don't go after a touristy crowd, not yet. We will later. We have a plan to attack that market, but not yet.
That's fantastic. Oscar, we have to take a quick break. Can you stick around for another segment?
Sure, I'd love to.
That's fantastic. We'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing, helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822. Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 9 years we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and today we have the pleasure of meeting and we're speaking with Oscar Zapata, the CEO and founder of Shots. And Oscar, I thought maybe we could jump into, the industry. I guess it's safe to say that this is a pretty big industry, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers have to add up, I guess, into hundreds of millions or billions. If taking into consideration the target audience that you are, of course, going after. So, I think that's fantastic. Has there been anything that has stood out over time? I mean, since you got involved, in starting Shots, one of the questions we ask our guests from time to time is, what's been one of the most interesting thing that's happened to you since launching Shots, Oscar?
Well, one of the most interesting things I'd have to say is coming out on number 87 on the nation's top revenue-producing nightclubs last year.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was really shocking to us. We didn't know we were gonna win that place, and it was very nice. It made us very hungry. It made us realize that we were onto something. And just going back real quick to touch on the industry that you mentioned, the nightlife industry itself is about a $26 billion industry, which that's where we started, and we've been very successful there. But like I said earlier, we're adding our Shots Bites food element to our product offering. So once you add, the lunch hours, opening up more days of the week, you're opening a little earlier, you get your legitimate happy hour going. You're talking about a $500 billion industry.
That's incredible. In talking about franchising, Oscar, I mean, what types of characteristics will you be looking for in your franchisees?
Access to money, at least $500,000. The franchisee has to have hunger, drive, dedication. We can train anyone to run this business pretty much, but it's on the investor to be mindful of his business, his investment, and overall just to have the right attitude is what we look for.
Right. And I think you said something key, too, is that, you can train anyone to, get into this particular business. It doesn't sound like they have to have particular experience in this industry. So even like myself, I had a little bartending experience, but that doesn't even sound like that matters, you're looking for somebody, as you said, with, of course, the monetary aspect, but also that has that positive attitude, kind of like a business person in getting into your business model.
Right, absolutely. I mean, service experience is definitely a plus, and we look for that. It's very, very nice to have, but again, anyone that has the right drive, hunger, dedication, passion, we can, and willingness to learn, it has to be somebody that's willing to learn our processes, our systems. We've developed everything in-house from the ground up. We have no preconceived notions of how things are supposed to be done, and we've developed ways that work for us.
It's fantastic that you said that, too, because we found that, too, in doing the show for 9 years now, Oscar, is that, that openness to learning is very important, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's great. What is the training like, Oscar? I mean, once you decide, you like them, they like you, and they want to become a franchisee, will they come to the corporate headquarters in Miami? Is that how it works? Is that where the training will take place?
Yes, the training takes place in Miami, and they train directly with our core team. There's a lot of classroom training. There's a lot more on-the-job training, and it touches all elements as far as hiring, firing, operations, marketing, inventory control, theft, how to catch it, how to deal with vendors, events, social media marketing, print ads. I mean, we touch on absolutely everything. And then there's always follow-up training. We go out. Once we launch the location, we actually go out and we'll be there on site for about a week or two, depending on how long we need to stay there. But we make sure that the franchisee is in control of his operations before we let him go.
That's fantastic. For our listeners who are listening and they're saying, wow, this sounds like a really, interesting concept, and someone doesn't have experience in this particular type of industry, what is a typical day like, Oscar, as a franchisee? I mean, because you've been doing this for a while now. I mean, of course, coming in the afternoon and the morning, is a lot different, I guess, than maybe at night. Is it possible to describe a typical day as a franchisee?
Sure. Well, franchisee shouldn't be at the location at night. This is you manage the business during the day, so you're pretty much reviewing reports, checking accounts, auditing teams. We have marketing and operations meetings, and a focus on your family. The franchisee needs to be he's the head of the food chain here, so he needs to be well taken care of and well rested and in good shape to make sure that the business is operating at its maximum potential.
It's a business, right? It's not somebody who's looking to come be a bartender, and hang out and I guess to say party with the customers at night. It's a business, like anything else, and that's very important, So I think that's interesting. You're listening to Franchise Interviews, and go ahead, Oscar.
Well, I was going to say you hit the nail on the head there, and I can't express how important that is to run this thing as a business, because I've seen quite a many business, quote-unquote business owners, but they run it like a bar or a nightclub, and it's the number one reason why these places go under.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. We had Lil Lavelle, who is the founder of Coyote Ugly, on our show. I think it was about 2 months ago. It's a different model, but similar industry, but different model than Shots. And she mentioned the same thing on the show. She said from her experience, if you're getting into this, you have to go in. It's a business. You're not there to party with the customers or anything like that. Of course, it is good to know who your customers are, but it's a business like anything else, and I think that's so important, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%.
You're in studying your background, Oscar. I mean, you come off to me as a real entrepreneur. What advice would you give to our listeners in their quest to buy a franchise? We call our listeners aspiring franchipreneurs. Most of them know that they want to get into franchising, but we find that a lot of them simply don't know where to begin. So from everything you've done, from all your entrepreneurial experience, what would you say to them in their quest to buy a franchise?
Well, I'd have to say first off that they're more intelligent than I was. I don't know if that's fortunate or unfortunate for me, but when you're starting a business, the chips are really stacked up against you. When you invest in a franchise, you're joining something that's already much larger than you are. The processes, the systems, the procedures, everything's in place. You have training available to you. Really, it's the smart way to go, in my opinion. When choosing what franchise to go with, I would have to say you have to follow your passion. You have to do something that you're passionate about. If I'm passionate about nightlife or food and beverage, I shouldn't be getting into, a UPS store or, something like that. I should go for what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I think, and it's interesting in doing this show such a long time now. It seems to be, a common theme from, successful entrepreneurs like yourself is, that passion, certainly helps in getting up in the morning, doesn't it? When you're doing your job. So I think that's fantastic. So, because, you're one of the founders of the company, I can ask you the next question. I mean, what are the plans for Shots in the future, Oscar? I mean, where do you see the company maybe like 3 to 5 years down the road?
Well, we have a lot in store for the future. We're working on a brand new website with a complete franchise portal that highlights this amazing opportunity we've been discussing. On the heels of that, we're launching our Shots Props Fun app that's coming complete with a Shots selfie cam and an augmented reality feature. That'll also be available for all our franchisees. In July, we'll be launching in Orlando, and then Shots Bites is launching in the next 2 months. After that, it's a full court press out here selling franchises and growing the brand one location at a time. We've also have this new private label product that we've launched. It's actually called Shots Private Label. So we took our best-selling shot called Vicious Velvet, and we bottled it. So we're actually selling that in distribution. Yeah, so we're launching 4 more flavors and then some sauces. So it's kind of what we have in store for the future.
It's it's interesting in getting involved with a model like yourself. Is that it's still like in the younger stages of the franchise. Where it's not quite yet Subway. Where there's like 37,000 or 40,000 units. And it's interesting in watching all the different products that are going on. In the evolution of Shots. To be there. In the early stages is, it sounds like it's a lot of fun. I guess as far as the locations go, it's more city-oriented. Of course, I imagine Miami must be a killer location for Shots. Orlando must be a great location. So probably more like, you're looking for more like the city type of location, Oscar? I mean, whether it be a Manhattan or Chicago or San Francisco, those type of locations. Las Vegas.
Yes, we're looking for cities that have active, saturated nightlife, where there's a good amount of nightlife, where we have a lot of people congregating. We feel that we can install our concept and capture a significant portion of the market.
That's fantastic. What's the best way, Oscar, for our listeners to get more information on Shots as a franchise? Should they go to the website? Is that the best location to go to?
Yes, there's some location. There's some information on the website location. There's going to be more soon, but they can fill out the form there, and we'll give them a call.
That's fantastic. I want to thank you again, Oscar, for coming on the show. I think this is a real interesting concept, and I'd like to already invite you back next year as you continue to grow. I think this is fantastic.
Thank you very much, Marty. I'd love to be back next year.
That's my pleasure, Oscar. We'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing: helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities, or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Today's great quote in franchising is being brought to you by
Franchise Teacher.
Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. Today you're going to get to hear from Nick Bibby of the Bibby Group, and Nick wrote a fantastic article a while back called Entrepreneurial Types. Listen to what Nick had to say. I thought it was brilliant.
Perseverance, you won't persevere.
Right, absolutely.
And oftentimes too much money is the enemy.
Sure. Right, you got to have the motivation. Keep going.
That's key. That's the number one.
Absolutely. Yeah. There was something I wanted to go back to, Nick. You wrote a great article that I read. It was called Entrepreneurial Types, and you identified the different types of entrepreneurs. You started with an intrapreneur and ended with a practical visionary. Do you want to talk a little bit about that or touch upon that? Because I thought it was a great article.
Oh, thank you. If you look at entrepreneurship again on a scale of with independence as the key element on the scale, and one entrepreneurial type in my mind is not better than another. It's simply who we are and where we best fit. Well, you know, the safest entrepreneurial setting is intrapreneurship, where you're operating, and I'm sure your listeners understand all this, you're operating within the framework of a company. There's a very limited risk factor. The further you move out on the scale of independence, the more alone you are.
Certainly.
So the next logical step would be what? Franchisee. And I've often used this expression regarding the very finest of franchisees. It's an attitude of help me but leave me alone.
Sure.
And so, you know, I can define each entrepreneurial type with a given definition, and that's, again, part of the focus program, helping people decide really who they are.
Right.
And this is quite a lengthy process. When I say that the focus program is a no-fluff program, it takes time and effort to understand ourselves. I'm simply providing a framework and tools so that people can move through the process of understanding their entrepreneurial self.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
And by the way, the answer to you, at the very end, when I say practical visionary, I always put a question mark after that.
Yes, I remember that.
And the reason is, you know, a vision may not be very practical at all. And oftentimes when the visionary pursues a dream, it's not about the marketplace. It's about them proving something.
Right, absolutely. We have about 1 minute, Nick.
I thought that was a fantastic article. You can actually read the whole article by going to bibbygroup.com. Again, that's bibbygroup.com, and it's under articles, and again, it's called Entrepreneurial Types. So once again, we hope you enjoyed this edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, and again, we'd love to hear your feedback, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for listening.